Hello, and welcome back to another video. In this video, I wanted to talk about something called higher knowledge, or wanted to try to open up you to this possibility of knowledge that is not gained through the intellect, but it is gained through something called consciousness. Or in my previous video, I have talked about what consciousness is and why it's important to look into consciousness. Because it can solve a lot of our problems, and the more you evolve in consciousness, the more you are able to actually be able to interact even with the intellect and even with the personality that we create based upon the intellect. And so you are able to interact with this more in a more broader way, and you are able to actually even be able to manipulate energy to give it and actually push this energy in certain directions which we want, and not just dissipate this energy in a very unconscious manner. So in the previous video, I have talked about how the consciousness evolved. Now there are different kinds of knowledge in the world, but I would try to make people and be more aware of certain different kind of knowledge that is able to be perceived through consciousness and not through the intellect. Of course, it is in this era and in this world right now, knowledge is we know preferable when it comes through the intellect. That is, if you think knowledge is more preferable, if it is more rational and it is being evaluated by an intellectual person. It is, of course, a form of knowledge that is and that comes through an intellectual process. But there is another kind of knowledge that you gain through evolving your consciousness. What I mean by this is, for example, in previous times, or when this era is what I would call an intellectual era, where advancement in intelligence and advancement in technology, which is also closely related to advancement in intellect, is given more priority. That is why scientists, and that is why a lot of people who have made progress in technology are looked as authoritative. But in our previous times and in the ancient times, we did not give much priority to intellect, or simply our education system or our upbringing was not based on intellectual endeavors. It was based upon closely with the traditions that were in the tribe. So here in this day and age, we have a transfer of information from all over the world, and especially since the internet has given us access to this information all over the world, people are able to interact with information from different traditions, from different societies, from different ways of thinking. But in the previous times, we only had information that was accessible to us through a local society, and there have been some societies which have evolved their consciousness enough so that they are able to perceive knowledge through consciousness, through this evolution of consciousness. And this knowledge is more closely related to not concrete intellectual knowledge. It is closely related to intuition. That is why in nowadays astrology or Even uh, even other sciences which were previously more valuable are now obsolete, because this is the era of the intellect. Previous times, instinct and astrology was given more priority. For example, the kings and the rulers of nations would go to the prophets, sages, and foreseers and foretellers for their information about the future or about how to govern their government. Now this is not the case. We don't really go to the seers. In fact, the seers or the people who are able to perceive this knowledge are looked down upon and are not really valid. Even almost in our governments, if a person is basing their decision upon astrology or basing their decision upon these traditions, is looked down upon. Even our governments are usually more intellectually oriented than religion oriented. So this, but it is not intelligent to ignore this form of knowledge which has been governing our societies and which have been a crucial part of our current society. And it is ignorant. It is not. It is stupid to ignore this completely without further investigation into it. So now let us understand what consciousness is and how we are able to perceive this higher knowledge, and is it really valid. So a lot of the things that are so the world is mostly based upon is ruled by Christianity and Islam, which are based upon which were based upon Jesus Christ and Prophet Muhammad. So these prophets and these characters had something called revelation, and this revelation is it's a claim that this revelation is through the God. And what is this? Like why are these books given and these revelations given more importance over intellectual and endeavors? And since our world is mostly governed by these two major forms of religion, it is important to understand the source of their information. So this revelation apparently happens in a state of consciousness that is that these prophets have been in, and in this state of consciousness there is a download of certain kind, and it is a channeling of God Himself. And now, what is this kind of information, and why is it not really accessible to us? It is accessible to us, and we usually use this faculty of instinct, but we do this unknowingly. So all our decisions are based upon instinct. They are really not. Some people base their decision upon their intellect and have a very stern view on making their decisions based on intellect, but most of us make the decisions based on instinct, and this instinctive knowledge comes through something that is a state of consciousness. It is not something that is decided upon And instinct is also closely related to our hearts and our emotions. We also base our decisions on emotions. But since we are not able to actually interact with this instinct and with the heart and with our emotions, we are really not able to enhance this ability of instinctive decision making or making decisions based on instincts. The easiest way to make your instincts more sensitive and make us more sensitive to this information or this higher knowledge is to cultivate something called consciousness. Now, these prophets and these sages have prescribed a method or a practice or a way of life, and use this happens naturally. A person who has been practicing this spiritual tradition is naturally more prone to seeing things and is more wiser in terms of predicting things and is able to foresee things. That is why we look up to, not we, but mostly in places of like India or places where religion is more prominent. We look up to our sages and we look up to our saints. It is because they are able to perceive this instinctive knowledge, which is completely not based upon the intellect, and sometimes this knowledge was absolutely wrong too. Sometimes things that are predicted are not, they don't really or they don't really take their manifestation. But there is also a problem here when we base our decisions upon instinct, or we base our decisions upon only this kind of knowledge. So intellect is what I'm trying to do here is trying to balance the instinctive knowledge that is gained through the books, through the holy books, through the methods and practices, and I'm trying to strike a balance between this knowledge and the knowledge that we gain through our intellect, because we tend to abandon one thing or the other. So we tend to abandon the instinct, the intellect completely, and we tend to become instinctive. And this leads us into becoming more radical about our beliefs, and this makes us more conservative, and make us base our decisions purely on instinctive knowledge instead of looking at the intellect. So it is important to actually make a balance between the intellect and the instinct. And there are also people, especially in the Western side of the world, who base their knowledge purely on intellect, as a complete disregard to this knowledge that is gained by the instinct. So my whole endeavor is to strike a balance between intellect and instinct, and also in this process understand what emotions and how heart and desire is also responsible for life. So I hope it gave you some insight in this topic of higher knowledge or this instinctive knowledge that is perceived by the prophets, and that is the basis of a lot of religions and spiritual traditions. And I hope it also gave a direction to look into. So thank you for watching this video. If you like my way of thinking, you can go and watch other videos that I have uploaded on YouTube. And here on YouTube I do this thing called contemplative work, in which I contemplate a lot of different aspects of our reality here in the world. And I used to do this method without a camera before, but now I decided to enough and share this method of contemplation with the world. So if you want to support my work here, you can subscribe to my channel and be sure to push that notification bell so that you can get updated whenever I post a new video. And these whole videos that I upload here are basically something that we do together. It is something what it is an inquiry. It is not something that I am teaching you or something that you are getting out through your intellect, but it is an endeavor to contemplative thinking we are doing together. So thank you for watching this video.